there, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name's Martin, and this channel is my attempt at sharing some of the experiences, or some of my experiences, now that I've retired. You join me still in Peterborough. We've just completed, or a week ago, just completed the second part of the River Nene. Been in Peterborough for a week because I've been waiting for my registration to join the middle level, but that has come through. So as of tomorrow morning at 9:15, I will be entering Stanground Lock and disappearing onto the middle level. Okay, well, good morning. Just leaving Peterborough Embankment, and in a short while I will be turning left once I get away from this bank, turning left and going off down the middle level. So it's going to be quite a long day today, I think, so we'll see how it goes. And first stop, Stanground Lock. So if you want to come with me, please do. See you in a couple of months. Thank you so much. You can really tell that we're on drainage waters now. As soon as I got through the lock at Stanground, the indicators have the water being much more eutrophic here were amazing. The amount of blanket weed just below the surface, and in some cases on the surface, is amazing, and it's slowing me down quite a lot. I'm having to either coast through thick mats of it, or if I don't see it, having to put the engine in reverse to clear the propeller. It slows down, oh, unbelievably, once you hit the stuff. But hey ho, it is what it is, and we'll just have to get through the other side, get to March, get through the other side, and hope that the Great Ouse is a little bit better. But certainly the middle level, yeah, it's a bit laborious, and not dissimilar to canals, except on canals you're looking out for polythene bags and shopping trolleys. Here you're looking out for weed, but either way they'll both slow you down if you get them in the propeller. This is Field's End Bridge, one that carries a 605, and I've cut that a bit fine, but we'll be all right. There we go. Pigeons clearly love it. Now we're in the fens, wonky telegraph poles and everything. This coming up, I believe, is Turning Tree Bridge. Don't shoot! I forgot to mention actually, just the stretch of water beyond the other side of Whittlesea Lock was called King's Dyke, and now we're on Whittlesea Dyke. So it's nice to know that they got names, and we're about to, well, somewhere along this long stretch in front, we'll come to Angle Corner, but this is more how I anticipated the Fenland waterways, the dykes, to be. Sort of not much of a view, big skies, huge skies, not much of a view, and fairly straight, because let's face it, their primary role is one of drainage and not navigation. Since we've been on a slightly wider stretch of water below the lock, or after the lock, the blanket weed is much less. Whether that is because the lock has flushed it through, I don't know. Maybe as we get further and further down here it'll get thicker and thicker, but so far for the last mile or so it's been really, really good. So that's a bonus.
Fen Basin is an area in eastern England covering around about 3,900 square kilometres. It is low-lying, but once upon a time it was dry land. But as sea levels rose at the end of the last ice age and the North Sea was created, the major rivers, the Witham, the Welland, the Nene and the Great Ouse, could no longer send their water out, and so the Fen Basin, being low-lying, flooded. Now, over the next 8,000 or 9,000 years, the plant vegetation that grew in the fens died back each year, and because the ground was waterlogged and the land was flooded, that vegetation couldn't decompose and it slowly started to form peat. Now over the last 1,000 years, particularly in those early centuries, local communities around the periphery of the Great Fen discovered that it was a good place to farm. You could graze cattle at certain times of the year, you could grow crops at certain times of the year, but the areas were always prone to flooding. Now the bit I'm travelling through is known as the Great Level, or the Bedford Level, and it is an area of around about 1,300 square kilometres and includes the basins of the rivers Nene and Great Ouse. This area in turn is split into three what they call levels: the southern level, which is the area surrounding Ely; the middle level, which is where we are at the moment, which is between the Ouse Washes and the River Nene; and the north level, which is all of the fens in Cambridgeshire and Lincolnshire between the River Nene and the River Welland. Now during the 17th century, the 4th Earl of Bedford, together with investors known as gentlemen adventurers, had contract with King Charles I to commence drainage of the fens, and they employed a Dutchman by the name of Cornelius Vermuyden to oversee the engineering. This drainage, of course, posed a real threat to the livelihoods of many of the people that lived in the fens, wildfowlers, eel trappers and the like, and they themselves formed what you would call a terrorist group known as the Fen Tigers, and they would go around sabotaging the work, filling in ditches, damaging or destroying wind pumps and things like that. But the enterprise was also challenged by the fact that once you take water out of peat, the peat goes through a natural process called oxidation, and basically the peat shrinks. So whilst you're trying to drain the land by lowering the water level, you're also lowering the land level, and so it's a never-ending circle, and that challenge continues today. Now initially the land was drained simply by digging a ditch and allowing the water to flow away, but then as the areas increased and the land started to shrink, wind pumps were built and used. Once they became overwhelmed by the amount of water that had to be shifted, steam pumps were used, and then diesel pumps, and the modern day method is electrical pumps. But examples of these drainage methods can still be seen, such as the wind pump at Wicken Fen, or the steam engine or the steam pump at Streatham. And you can also visit the Brick Willow Drainage Museum, which is fascinating if you're interested in this sort of thing. Now, believe it or not, some of these channels, even some of the really big ones, were all dug by hand. Some have quite possibly been enlarged mechanically over the years, over recent years anyway. But the original layout was all dug with picks, shovels and wheelbarrows. And the drainage process continues today, so that lucrative farming could still take place in the fens. But at the same time, whilst the water level is being reduced, the peat levels are also reducing through oxidation. And there surely must come a time when either the peat's gone and farming isn't as lucrative as it always used to be, or the land becomes so low that it becomes simply too difficult and too expensive to pump the water out. Now, it's probably worth noting that the fens were once a 3,900 square kilometre wetland, massive area supporting thousands and thousands of species of wildlife. But it was also a massive carbon store, and as we drain the fens, much of that carbon is being released into the atmosphere. And it's quite well documented in a book by Dr. Ian Rotherham entitled The Lost Fens, England's Greatest Ecological Disaster. Sobering thoughts.
Right, up ahead here we have Angle Junction, and coming in or going out from the right is Bevil's Leam, and coming in or going out, I'm not sure which, from the left is the 20-foot river. So this is Angle Junction. So that is Bevil's Leam, way up there, straight as a die, and that way is the 20-foot river, straight as a die, and we're going or continuing along there, which for about another mile is Whittlesey Dyke, and then the old course of the River Nene cuts in, and for a while we should be back on the River Nene. Yeah. There's a fisherman in a boat in the middle of the dyke in front of us, so I hope he's going to move. This is Angle Bridge. The couple whose passage I stole at Stanground Lock and who kindly helped me through Ashline Lock at Whittlesea have just about caught me up now, so if they want to, they're going all the way to Salter's Lock today, which is quite an undertaking, so this is nice and wide. I think I might let them through here, or ask them if they want to come through here and let them go on their way. They've got a long way to go today. Have a good trip.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. I might see you on the way back.
Yeah, maybe.
Take it easy.
See you later. Cheers.
Yeah, bye-bye. Not sure if you can make it out, but there's a bit of a parliament of crows going on top of this pillbox. Probably couldn't do any worse than whatever we end up with after the upcoming election. There, but you didn't expect political comment on here. Neither did I. I'm rapidly coming to the conclusion that the map that I'm following isn't exactly to scale, which for somebody who's mildly OCD like me doesn't help. This looks like the confluence of Whittlesea Dyke and the old River Nene, or the River Nene's old course, and I've consulted the Oracle and we are actually rejoining the River Nene and not the other way round. So very shortly we'll be back on the old Nene again. And there's the old River Nene. Doesn't look that much different to the new River Nene, really, does it? Hey ho. Oh, there's a bit of interest. This little sign here, the Rotary Club sign, marks the Greenwich Meridian. So we are now, or I am now, in the Western Hemisphere, and now I'm in the Eastern Hemisphere. Marvellous. That was a little surprise. I didn't realise that was going to happen. And the skies round here big. I have to say, the water course is down this way anyway. If you exclude the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles, they're actually pretty good. I've not encountered any more blanket weed. They're nice and wide, they're plenty deep enough, there's no detritus or debris to worry about, or it doesn't seem to be anyway. So yeah, it's pretty good. I understand it gets a bit different when you get through March, when you get towards Outwell and Upwell and along Wells Creek. It gets a bit tight, but this bit is, yeah, it's fantastic. Still can't go any more than 4 miles an hour, but it's really good. out of my mooring in March. I've been here, well, I arrived sort of mid-afternoon on Friday, and it's now early morning on Sunday. So quite a nice mooring, a little bit noisy at night, but that's okay. Pub and fish and chip shop were only 50 metres away, which was brilliant. And the internet was good. So yeah, managed to watch the rugby. So we're now heading off, a little bit quicker. We're now heading off, hopefully to get to Salters Lock this afternoon. I'm not sure if I'll be able to moor at Salters. There are moorings there, but I don't know how free they'll be. But there are moorings about a mile and a half outside or away from. So my passage in the morning is around about 10 o'clock. I should get there at 9:30. But the lady on the phone said just turn up at the designated, or 15 minutes before the designated time, just in case the tide is running quicker. So hopefully by lunchtime tomorrow I'll be on the non-tidal part of the Great Ouse and taking it steady all the way to Ely and Wycombe. So if you want to come with me today, should take us about 5 or 6 hours, I suppose. So if you want to come with me, please feel free. Coming up on the right here is another one of those tributaries, dikes, that I believe this one's navigable as well. I'm not going to take it because it'll take me well out of the way, but it's called Popham's U, or Popham's Yo, E-A-U. Not sure if it's pronounced. But yeah, these things run crisscross all over the fens. And they're not all as big as the one that I'm on now, the old River Nene, but they are navigable. There we are then. That's Popham's U, or Popham's Yo, however it's pronounced. Bit straight, isn't it? Okay, we've got some twiddly bits now. And then in about, I guess about a mile, we'll be coming up on Marmont Priory Lock, which will be, it's an unmanned lock, so I'll have to do the work myself, but the only lock between me and Salters Lock. So we're through Marmont Priory Lock, Course, it was hard work. Gates wouldn't open. The paddles, although they were hydraulic, they were really difficult to open. But anyway, through there, and we're now coming up on Upwell and Outwell. I'm not sure which one comes first because they're right next door to each other. I think Upwell comes first, but I'm not certain. And sadly, the blanket weed, which I think is actually an algae if I remember, it's getting worse now, so yeah, it's going to be a slow old job to get to Salters. Hey ho. Morning. Is it still morning? Thank you. So this is St Peter's Church, and I think Outwell starts on the other side of this bridge. Be a strange thing to say in the summer that we've been having, but it's really nice to be in the shade here. It's actually quite a warm one today. Yeah, this is quite pleasant. Just through this bridge we will be entering Outwell Basin. I'm not going to stop there, it's a bit too far out from Salters to stop here, but apparently there are some moorings here. The bridge was built in 1852. They look like very nice moorings as well. I might remember this on the way back. This is St Clement's Church. It's quite imposing when you're down here. That's why I wasn't going anywhere, I was pushing that in front of me. Good grief. This is the Mullycourt Aqueduct. Not the prettiest thing, but it is one of the landmarks on this part of the system, and it crosses the middle level main drain, which is there. Pretty big, isn't it? Well, after the struggles with Marmont Priory Lock and the couple of hours of trying to wade through the weed coming down the canal, I've pulled into Gladys Dack's cottage moorings. I think you'll agree, pretty nice. Just passing a little hamlet called Nordelf. bearing in mind the Dutch influence on the draining of the fens, there are quite a few places that have Dutch origins in their place names, and some have been anglicised. Nordelf clearly hasn't. Incidentally, I think we've just hit another county. We're in Norfolk now. I didn't really expect my travels to take me to Norfolk because I wasn't planning on going to the Broads anytime soon. So yeah. Well, we're just coming up on Salter's Lock. I can see some moorings there, so wouldn't you know it, I could have come down here last night, but hey ho. We can get everything ready, get my life jacket on, and then just wait for the tide.
Well, I think this is where I'll bring this video to a close. The journey through the middle level has exceeded, I think it's exceeded my expectations, for the most part anyway. Hope you've enjoyed it too. If you have, and you aren't already, then please subscribe to the channel. It all helps. If you want to know how I get on crossing the tidal Great Ouse, then ring the notification bell. And if you feel like it, give us a bit of a thumbs up. Okay, until next time, cheers, see ya.